Hello friends, I welcome you all to the class of English compulsory BSS, BA become BSc second year. Today we are going to study second poem from unit number 2. The title of the poem is Desiderata. It is a Latin word. The meaning of this word is things desired. This poem was written in the early 1920s when the global socio-political economic condition was undergoing a transition. New inventions, new political developments, and the economic chaos turned men unstable in many ways. The present poem Desiderata works as an anchor to this chaos. It is a didactic poem, a morally instructional piece which urges the readers to find peace within the self. It is written in prose in the form of a speech in paragraphs. The poem deals with themes like love, peace, satisfaction, and happiness. This poem is written in prose style, which tries to give some important lessons of life. This poem has an affirmative message. It is the central theme of this poem. To proceed ahead with the discussion of the content of the poem, I would like to make you familiar once again with the perspective of the poet Max Ehrmann. Max Ehrmann was born in 1870 and he breathed his last in 1945. He was an American poet with German lineage. He was born in a business family at Terre Haute, Indiana. He graduated from DePauw University, Greencastle, Indiana. He studied philosophy and law at Harvard University and then practiced law at his hometown, that is Terre Haute, in the state of Indiana. He also joined his family business for some time, but being a poet at heart, he did not find in pleasure in trading. Therefore, he started writing poetry. His renowned works are A Farrago, which was published in 1898, Breaking Home Ties, it was published in 1904, A Prayer and Selections. This work was published in 1906. The present poem Desiderata is one of the most renowned poems written by Max Ehrmann. This poem was published in 1927. Desiderata's fame as a poet came posthumously. When he was alive, he was not that much popular figure, but after his death, he was recognized, his works were considered, and he was given due respect by his readers. Desiderata is a poem written in prose style which tries to provide some important lessons of life. It is an optimistic poem having the celebration of life as its central theme. The poem begins with a promising note of having peace within oneself. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. In this first stanza of the poem, the poet has given a promising note of having peace within oneself. The lives of human beings are noisy and full of complexity, but the poet advises his readers, or he advises all, that we should never be victimized by this chaos and should always try to maintain in the inner peace. Further, he says human beings should not surrender to these challenges but maintain good values in life and good relations with everyone. Further, he gives another piece of suggestion that people should always try to speak truth and be clear in whatever they say. Further, he asks us to be a good listener. He says, listen patiently to everyone and show respect towards all individuals. Even the lowest and the weakest in society have feelings, and one should learn to respect them. In the second stanza of the poem, the poet continues with his advice. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. The poet says that one should avoid loud and aggressive people as they are harmful, annoy and disturb one's inner peace. The poet's advice is not to compare oneself with others as every individual is unique. Comparison with others would only make one unhappy as compared to us. There would always be some superior and inferior people. One's own achievements and plans should be enjoyed as they belong to one, no matter how small they might be. These plans are genuine when the circumstances of life change. Fortune changes with time, but one should keep to one's own path and direction. In the third stanza of the poem, the poet alerts his readers as keep interested in your own career, however humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. The poet alerts his readers to be very cautious while dealing with people in business, as the world is full of dishonest people. But the same world also has some very good people leading their lives with high ideals. One's eye should recognize and differentiate the good from the bad. The world, he states, is also filled with courageous individuals, and one must get inspiration from such persons. Further, he advises be yourself, especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenhancement, it is as perennial as the grass. He says that one has to be always true to oneself as the world is full of fake people. However, one should not pretend feelings of care and concern as genuine emotions of love are valuable and timeless. They dispel the negativity around, listen to the self, and always follow the heart. In the next stanza of the poem, the poet speaks about experience as the great teacher. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. He says that experience is the greatest teacher. Rely on the learning derived from life, which one can gain through experience, failure, and success. This should be used as a guide to the future. Youth is immature and can flatter, but experience teaches rationality. Further, he says, you are a child of the universe, no less than the trees that the stars. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you. No doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. He says that one should protect the inner force one has and allow it to grow. This will come to one's aid in times of unforeseen, disastrous situation, fears, or result of unhappy and distressing creations of the mind can plague you. But at such times, one should not give in to these fears as they arise due to weariness, exhaustion, and isolation. So, he says that you are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its charm, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. He says that one should protect the inner force one has and allow it to grow. This will come to one's aid in times of unforeseen, dis- disastrous situations. One's life should be disciplined without being harsh on the self. Every individual is important, as bright and shiny as a star, and having equal right on earth as the plants and all of nature. This idea of having equal right as the rest of nature makes love and care to oneself an obligation. Finally, in the last stanza of the poem, he says that, therefore be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever you labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its charm, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. In the concluding part of the poem, the poet unites the individual soul with the universe. Human beings are a part of a larger universe and plan that continues relentlessly. Everyone must be aware and respect this fact. One must treat oneself lovingly and respectfully and be at peace with God. Whatever idea one has of God, because of the chaos of the materialistic world and the attention to be paid to work, desires, aims, and hopes, one's mind often becomes confused. But even in a world of such distraction, one should learn to listen to one's soul, keep peace within oneself, and live out one's dreams. The world is a precious place. In spite of pretense, falsehoods, unfulfilled goals, and so one should celebrate life and live with the joy of belonging to the universe. Finally, he suggests the readers, be cheerful, strive to be happy. He says that one is a part of this bigger journey and you have to try your best to find the pleasure. You have to change the situation even though you are placed in predicament, or even though you are surrounded by the uh, bad things. You have to make an effort to bring out something good worse around you, out of worse around you. So dear students, with this we have come across the explanation of the poem Desiderata, written by an American poet, Max Ehrman. In the following class, that is on tomorrow, we shall start with unit number 3, non-fictional prose. With this, I would like to remain here. Thank you very much.